Named on the bench for Auckland. Brisbane have named 4 fresh reserves. The Aucklanders keeping their powder dry as to who will make up their 4 replacements. New interchange rule in Super League this year.
Just going to see which way Wayne Bennett will use his forwards on the bench. And you've got Webbeck, Thorne, Carroll, John Platt too. So there's 2 players there can go on throughout the game, but the other 2 players, once they go on, they can't be replaced again. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens throughout the game, and of course with injuries on.
It's been a near perfect preparation this week for the Broncos. They're at full strength. They've got no injury problems to speak of. They're at home, so everything going their way. On the other hand, there's been all sorts of drama and distraction in the Warriors camp. Chief Executive Ian Robson forced to resign earlier in the week. They had to take a charter plane to get here at 2 a.m. last night. I don't know what time they got out of bed today. They weren't able to have a run as they planned yesterday. The warmish, humid contrast to Auckland. They have to play away from home in their first game. And then just to top it off, Phil Blake has to withdraw this morning after they'd already left Lee Oudenryn, who probably would have been their first up pick on the wing. So Sean Hoppy has 1 wing, but Lee Oudenryn, signed from the Gold Coast this year, ready to go on the wing. He pulled out. Then Phil Blake, named on the wing, pulled out. And so it's young Anthony Swan who will get a run. And it's interesting too, you've got Anthony Swan, you've got Logan Swan, you've got Joe Vungana. These 3 guys have already played for New Zealand. Last year, 96, they made their breakthrough.
Yeah, they did make their breakthrough last year. And I think the one guy that you pick out of those 3, Joe Vungana, is a guy that will have to take some control of the ruck area. If the Warriors are going to go strong tonight, himself, Kearney, and of course Dennis Spence are going to have to control that ruck, because if they don't, the Brisbane side will run them down, mate.
Look at this crowd. They are really lively out there. And here come the teams. This is what they've been waiting for. Alan Langer leads Brisbane Broncos for the first time in Super League. Big Glenn Lazarus will get a taste. Gordon Tallis, the man who has waited 12 months for this moment. He will explode, Tallis. Kevin Walters at 5'8" tonight. Glenn Lazarus, through the Canberra years to the Broncos years, a tower of strength. Every single year he has played, his team has been in the finals, right back since 1987.
It's interesting to note too that you've got Darren Smith, who's gone into the lock position. Here he comes, Matthew Rich now leading the Warriors out. I'll tell you what, the boys look very, very psyched up there, Warren. They know they've got a job on their hands. Like you said, a lot of pressure throughout the week. Who's going, who's staying, there's big Grant Young. I'll tell you what, they really have to perform tonight, though.
Stony faces on the Warriors. The Brisbane Broncos line up. Plenty of speed in the back line with Lockyer, Hancock, Renoff, Mundine, Anthony Mundine in the centres, Saylor, Kevin Walters and Alan Langer as half-back. And the forwards much improved with Gordon Tallis in there alongside Player of the Year, I should say Forward of the Year last year, Peter Ryan. And the Auckland lineup, Matthew Ridge is the big signing, but Sean Hoppy, leading try scorer in the club. Mark Ellis in the centres, and that skillful halfback of Namu and Jones. Up front, Vungana and Young, the big hitters, Grant Young and Joe Vungana. Alan Langer, you can talk about Tallis, you can talk about Mundine. This has been the Player of the Year the last 4 years for the Broncos. He's the little master, Alan Langer. And Matthew Ridge, he was an All Black in '89. He's captained the New Zealand team the last 2 years. He took Manly through the grand final win last year. He is par excellence, Matthew Ridge. The referee is Bill Harrigan. The players are ready, the referee's ready, the crowd are up and cheering.
I just can't wait for the ball to be kicked off. After having been retired for a couple of months, I'd love to be out there myself. Let me show you. A lot of pressure from both sides out here.
You can see there's some nerves. Look at Kevin Walters, very experienced but nervous.
Changes as we've already spoken about. The score, of course, the hook and roll. Of course, I reckon Tallis. The boards have really got to control. There's the ball kicked off.
And it's Darren Lockyer who drives it down towards the goal line. Lockyer in the fullback role today for the Broncos. And an early skirmish. Peter Ryan's in there with Andrew Gian, Grant Young, Matthew Ridge is up there too. Darren Smith shoving a few away.
I'll tell you what, 2 tribes go to war as 2 teams are going to go to war. I'll tell you what, Billy Herring's got to really sort this out straight away. Otherwise, this will be carried throughout the whole game.
they've won the first battle. Here it is.
Yeah, very interesting there. Like, Start Rowan's been down. Andrew G's probably trying to take over Big Tough there.
Well, they're two of the big men, Andrew G, an enforcer, and Grant Young, former Crushers player. Up towards halfway, it's with the Warriors now.
That's two. Have a look for me. Have a look. Have a look.
Betts plays it
put
back.
it when you play it.
Logan
That's
Swan.
three. Come back to me.
Cousin of Anthony Swan, who's playing on the wing tonight.
Paul, let him up. Let him up. Let him
Going
up. Quick,
forward,
quick,
they're
quick,
10 metres inside the Broncos' half. Betts gets his second touch. He's keen.
Ivan last.
Tell you what, they're really
Right
taking the
away,
Brisbane
Don't
Broncos
pull him
right
back
the full
down.
back, and that's
There
what they
you
have to
go.
do if they're going to win this game.
Stacey Jones switches it. Namu turns on the... puts the kick in. Lockyer's back there. Takes it well. Gets out into the field of play. Good set of six by the Warriors. John Driscoll finally in the hooking role. Scoots out a dummy half. He had to wait for a number of years for Kerrod Walters to finally leave the Broncos to get the start in first grade. Tallis. Well, he didn't get much of a head of steam up because they came very quickly up the defensive line to him. Lazarus running off Langer. Auckland's defence is good, Gary.
Mate, their defence is excellent. They're really getting off the line very quickly. There's a lot of improvement there from last year's defence. They were always waiting last year. This year, they're getting off the line. I think John Mayne's done a lot of work over that.
4 men in the last tackle. Langer running it. Throws it towards Saylor. Just over the halfway line. Last play by the Broncos.
Clean up. That's a zero.
You see that new rule coming in there. Once the player has kicked it, it's a zero tackle count. This is the first tackle that the Warriors have inside the Bronco half.
Don't put the hand in. Let him up.
Grant
Roll
Young.
away. Roll away.
Eru finds Betts over the advantage
That's
line.
three. Come on, roll off him.
Kearney. Good step from Kearney.
That's four. Have a look for me, Brisbane. Quick, come on, lads.
Only 20 metres out. Jones wraps around Namu. Bridges into the line. Grunts in tackle, though.
This is it. This is it. Onside, onside.
Hardy ran into trouble there. Saylor takes it well.
Zero.
Well, I think Auckland will be pretty happy with their early six in this match. Mundine, first touch.
Let him up.
Got to make sure they wrap Mundine up because he's a guy who can make 20 or 30 metres out of one tackle. And he's got the Broncos really back into the hunt. Over 40 metres already, and it's only their second tackle.
Darren
Tackle
Smith
two,
takes it to
roll
halfway.
away. Don't go too quick, eh?
Ryan hit hard.
Three. Have a look for me. Have a look, Blue. Come back. Onside, all the way back. Hold. Yep.
Lockyer's up in the line and Tallis is up in. Went forward. Good play to get Tallis a little wider.
It was a good little play, but it was just a little bit forward that pass there, Warren.
Trying to get a rag. What
Nice scrum down there.
Hold. Hang on a sec. Give me a look now, please.
We might have a blood bin here. Big grain.
Yeah. Yep. Down you go. Hold. Yep.
Namu to Ellis.
Tackle one, fellas. Have a look at me. Come back to me, Red.
Ellis, the All Black champion, in the centres tonight. Young's put it down. Put it down cold.
Scrum this side, fellas. Stay in there. It's in there. Remember the outside foot. No, wait. Let them put their heads in. Bend your head down. That's it. Put in. Stay on.
Lockyer takes it to the blind side. Renoff. Wally Lewis
Let
is
him up
with
now.
us.
Let him up.
Wally early
Let him go.
impressions.
Don't hang on to him. Put on it.
It's difficult. I don't believe both teams at the moment feel all that confident.
Let him up now.
Throwing the ball around too
Have a look
much.
at me, fellas. Have a look.
Both coaches would have said to them, just get out there, get the feel of the match. They're going to have a little bit of nerves to play with early.
Yeah, that's true. Let him up. Roll off him.
Grant Young went flying through the air. Tallis taking it to them.
4. Have a look. Onside, onside.
Searching
onside.
run by Driscoll. They go wide now. Langer. Lockyer's in the line again. Renoff. Renoff. Still going Renoff.
Right now, 5 and last. Clean off. Stay.
Langer stabs for the post. Good kick. Plenty of Warriors back though. Can they get out?
That's a great kick, Warren, from Alfie there. But right in the block hole there where they'd all moved off the ground. They had to come forward to try and put pressure on them.
What about the chase of Andrew G? The big prop forward got through in defence with Kevin Walters.
Good to be back.
Beautifully judged kick. Mundine.
Number 9. 9. Don't throw it away. Don't throw it away. That's rubbish.
Ridge taking his time. Wants to settle it down. No points on the board after 7 minutes. Sailor's back there.
Keep him low.
Stepped up his left and goes straight through.
Let him up one.
Namu got him from behind. G.
That's 2. Let him up. Stay on.
30 metres out. Langer comes across the ruck. Mundine, no room.
Gone back. That's 3. Have a look till he's blue. Onside.
Sailor has it 28 out.
On now. Oh, come back to me, blue.
Langer with a little run himself, went nowhere. Smith. Good ball and well taken by Lockyer. He couldn't hold it, but he did well to hold on as long as he did.
Blue locked it forward. Facing that way. Blue knock on. No, that's okay. He knocked it backwards. In here, red
I think
scrum,
Brisbane
red
be a little
loose.
bit disappointed there. They got a good inside ball here of Darren Smith.
No, red, blue knock
They
on.
lost the ball forward. Oh, well.
Side, it's Hancock's ball. Will take half a dozen to knock him
You're
down.
in,
That's a
blue
great
on the line.
tackle.
Come on,
Grant
back,
Young.
please. Centre!
Lazarus 10 out. Lazarus on the march. The Warriors defence tested now. Juggle from Walters.
Don't lay on him.
Got to play it. Renoff. Ellis makes the tackle. Ellis's
Roll
defence
now,
has
roll
been
away.
questioned, but he was in there and made
Roll
that
off
tackle on Renoff.
Hold. No.
Ryan.
This is it. Someone got a buzz in the ear.
The Langer's got a kick on this last. Off the post, and Ridge has got it covered.
He's been pushed back behind the goal line there, which will give Brisbane a restart there, Warren. But what I've seen has come out of it so far is that Matthew Ridge, the player that took the ball there, is doing some outstanding work just a metre behind the defensive line. He's sliding across, making sure that all of his troops in front know whether they've got to slide left or right. They're playing the slide defensive campaign, which is very, very effective against Brisbane. Any lazy players on the inside, you're in trouble.
You actually see there, Wally, that they got a penalty there for back chat from one of the Warriors players.
Hold.
More pressure for the Warriors. They'll do well to withstand it.
2 now. Let him up. Hands up his head, 9. Quick. Roll away.
No points on the board after 10. Walters, Smith, Hancock with a chance, and Hancock's in. Swiveled out of the tackle. Michael Hancock finished it beautifully. He didn't run far, but he had plenty of work to do. Darren Smith has made a couple of forays already, and this was a telling one. 4-0 to the Broncos. And Michael Hancock, who almost didn't make the Broncos top 20, scores their first try of the season. Smith on the angle. A couple of tacklers there, and they virtually ran into each other, Namu and Hoppy.
Certainly he did it. You see Big Lazo here throwing out a big long ball and Kevin Waddlesley out. But the best part here, Michael Hancock had the sense to cut inside. The players went too high and Michael was just too strong from the ball over line. I tell you what, the amount of pressure that the Warriors have had, the amount of sets of 6 they've had against them, will held them out pretty strongly. But
Gary, that is the big word. You've just used it there, the pressure. This is where Brisbane have been attacking, all down this end of the field. The Warriors haven't had all that much time to get their breath. They've got to try and get the ball, just hang on to it for a couple of tackles, get into a field position where they can kick the ball. But if you haven't got possession, it's absolutely impossible to do that. I'm sure that John Money would be extremely happy with what his players have been able to do, particularly in that movement. They weren't lazy. Everyone came across. It was just brute strength that got Mick Hancock over.
In fact, if we look at the stats, they tell us that Auckland have spent 9 minutes in their own half and the Broncos have only spent 2.5 in their half. And no wonder that they're having to sustain a lot of pressure. Darren Lockyer will take the goal kicks for the Broncos in season 97. This is not an easy one. And it's fading across the posts. Just pulled it around there. 4-0 to the Broncos. Lockyer with an important role. The goal kicking is one. The fullback role is another. And of course here we see one of the new Super League rules where the scoring team restarts play with the kickoff.
This is just bad luck for the Warriors again, isn't it, Warren? They're back in their own half from the kickoff. They're not going to work out hard and get a good kick behind to try and put the Brisbane side under a lot of pressure.
Well, the idea is that at least they get the ball. You're right, they're down their own end of the half. Of the field, I should say, under the 10-metre rule. Supposedly they've got possession and they should be able to make some territory.
Yeah, that's one. Let him up. Roll away, roll away. Hands out, hands out.
Play it.
Put on it when you play it.
Of course, if they make a mistake early in the 6th, well, they're under rubber. They certainly are. Young has been working hard.
Let him up, three. Roll away, roll away.
Smith just going ball and all a little high around the shoulders. The referee obviously thought it was all right.
Nope.
See a mistake there by Dennis Betts, taking the ball forward, trying to get a quick play of the ball in, knocks it on. Mate, just putting the Warriors back under pressure again.
Red loose and feed. All heads down, heads down.
Some big men in the front row.
On.
Mundine, a little bit of room to move that time. Sailor, accelerating. Big
let him up, one, let him up, roll away, roll away.
Kevin Walters goes down the blind side, almost away.
2 now, let him up, let him up.
Swan got to him just in time. Alice puts it down. Clumsy.
In here, fellas, 20 in.
Alice wiping the sweat off his hands. There has been some criticism of the ball.
Square your backside to me. Okay. Here we go. Square it to me, square it to me.
There'd be a bit of criticism for not watching the ball on that occasion.
Right, roll away, don't go in on him. Let him up, let him up.
Hoppy.
3, don't put hands on him, roll away, roll away, roll away.
Just short of halfway, he's lost it.
Put a scrum down. Called it. Red loose, red feed. Lost it after the tackle.
I think Bill Harrigan there got the message from the sideline. Sean Hoppy had lost the ball on that tackle when he went on the ground.
Wait till he gets set, wait till he gets set, Red. Wait till they're set. Head's got to go down prop, get the head down.
Brady Malum has come on for Auckland. Backed into that last scrum. It is unlimited interchange.
That's one. Have a look for me, Blue. Hold.
But really you only have 2 men who you can unlimited interchange. 4 through the game, but 2 of those will be permanent replacements.
Come back to me. All on side, all on side. No, it's not.
Lazarus.
Yeah, let him go now, let him go now. That's 3. Have a look for me, Blue. Come back to me.
Walters with a little dummy. Had a scurry himself.
4 now. Come back to me, Blue.
15 out. 2 tackles to go. G. Loses it back. Auckland's ball and it's Stacey Jones. Nobody in front of him. Reynolds closing him down. On halfway. Great tackle. Well, excellent work from Stacey Jones.
Just give me a call.
Pompey with Ellis trying to follow him.
Hard to hear when the crowd roars.
The Broncos paying the price. pass backwards and they weren't awake to it.
Yeah, forced pass by Andrew G there, but great pick up by Stacey Jones. The best thing he did was just take the tackle. Oh, another mistake by the Warriors here. That's about 4 mistakes in a row now.
And that's the freshman Malem coughing it up. They can't afford that, having been just given the chance.
There's not many chances you get in the Broncos half, and I'll tell you what, they're throwing away every one so far.
First tackle. Lost ball. Over knock on.
When Lazarus has lost it. Maybe it is a little slippery.
We've got around about halfway through this first half now, Warren. I suppose that's about the time when you start seeing a little bit of tiredness coming into the players. In training, I suppose, it's a little bit different. You're not really playing against anybody, and there's no real difficulty in trying to aim up against them. But, of course, we've heard that the criticism about the ball, but now they're trying to aim up mentally. That's the biggest problem they've got.
Yep, 2. Have a look for me now. Come back to me, Red.
Eru, good run. Picked up 10. Wants a quick play the ball.
3, come on. That's all right, you got up.
Kearney standing a little wider.
That's 4 now. Let him up. Roll
It was a
away.
handful for Ryan.
Yep, that's
Only
20.
20 out. Namu switches. Jones. Betts.
5 alive.
Good tackle, Langer.
Back to me, Red. Don't go till it's played. Now.
Ridge is up there. They're running it. Pressure here for Hancock. Just a little too deep. G. Namu, just a little too much on it.
On the ground, kick it with a foot. Yep.
Langer taking that 20 tap very quickly.
Here I am.
And the best thing about it, G. Namu goes to the line and puts the kick in, but it's just a little bit too long. And coming back to that tap, Wendell Saylor made an easy 10 metres.
And here he goes again. G.
Tackle
Logan
2.
Swan
Let him up now.
stood and waited for Andrew G.
Come back
One
to me.
man you want to get to quickly.
That's 3. Keep him down.
Tallis juggles another one. Maybe he's a little nervous, overexcited.
It's a long time out of football as 1 year to play the 13th side, that's for sure.
That's 4.
Tallis had a run in the World Nines.
All the way. Yep, that's it. Play on.
Luck as it goes to Smith on the rebound.
This is it, fellas. This is it.
5th tackle.
We're on.
Into open spaces.
Alan Langer having plenty of time there to kick the ball, that's for sure. No pressure on him whatsoever from the Warriors. It's allowing him to go the line the ball. But lucky they got a 25-yard tap.
Hold till he's kicked it. Yep.
It seemed to really skid through this kick.
Okay, bring him back. Come on, you got to make that extra distance. No, that was all right. Cool it. That's
Apart
2.
from
Come
the
back to me
occasional
all the way.
mistake, the Warriors are playing a pretty good brand of football here. Betts.
That's 3. Now have a look this time. Have a look.
4-0 the score after 20 minutes in favour of the Broncos. Hancock the try scorer.
Roll away.
Eru. Namu. Jones is outside him this time. Ridge is in. Swan puts it down. Swan tried to change the angle. Anthony Swan on this occasion.
20 in scrum, red loose, red feed.
Little misunderstanding as Ridge had chimed in.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing for Anthony there not to catch that ball, because other than that, I think he's having a fine game out there marking Wendell Saylor. He's done nothing wrong up to there. You also seen Mark Oro come on the field too.
Have a look at his
So
head.
Gordon Tellis just leaving now and being replaced.
Brad Thorne is on for the Broncos. Andrew G has some problem. Maybe a little blood. So Lazarus is having a breather. Auckland still spending 3 times as much time in their own half as the Broncos. Smith finds himself out on the wing and into touch. Well, in that shuffle, Darren Smith ended up on the wing and goes over the sideline. Forced a little by the pass of Lockyer.
Blue whistle, please, fellas. Everyone get their heads back down before we go in.
That with a waste of possession on the
Second
first
row is
tackle,
in.
right on the halfway
On the
mark.
hole. Come on, don't balk it. Find that hole.
Smith tacks in at lock for the scrum, and Hancock is back on the wing.
Let's go.
Anthony Swan
He'll play it, he'll
can't
play
beat
it.
the tackle of Saylor. Horo.
2, come back to me, come back
Horo.
to me.
He is a warrior, a veteran.
That's gone back.
Put down.
That's a red ball. It went back, red ball. First tackle.
Peter Ryan has it for the Broncos.
That's 2, fellas, that's 2. Here we are, on the line.
Kevin Walters. Mundine.
That's 3, roll away,
Pretty sure
roll
that last
away.
ball dropped by the Warriors
Play it.
was again a mistake by Brady Mailer. And he really has a pretty high error count since coming on.
Come back to me, fellas, come back to me, that's it.
Lockyer. Renoff. Typical Broncos manoeuvre in the back line, cutting inside.
Number 9, you went in on a flop. No need to go down, he was on the deck.
Quick tap and away go the Broncos. Thorne, who doesn't like coming off the bench. He wants to be in the starting side.
Back to me, Blue, back to me, Blue.
Driscoll.
That's 2, you're on your line. On the line.
Lockyer, nice footwork. Renoff loses it. Covering from Jones.
That's not on there. That's on there.
That error count is very, very high now. It's up to about 13. It's 7 for the Warriors, and of course about 6 for the inside, and most of them I'd say will be from drop balls, Warren.
Yeah, surprisingly, some of the drop balls haven't really been in forced positions.
Maybe we'll have to get Wally to have a look at the inspection of those balls, Wally.
You got the loose. No, wait, hold it
Well,
there.
we're seeing some pretty good football from both fullbacks joining into the back line.
Inside foot back.
Yeah, and it really does appear as though the teams are very similar in their attacking patterns. Both of them trying to drop that fullback off on the inside as the centres take their play across field. Of course, that does put a lot of strain on the inside players, the defenders, mostly the centres. The one, whoever's going to crack there the first is going to be in a bit of trouble.
Brady Malem takes it up. Kearney.
Well, there's another mistake.
Thanks, mate. Where are you? Here? Okay. Yep, here.
Looks like it was a touch judge
Blue
call for a
mark,
forward
red
pass.
loose and feed.
And I couldn't see it from here.
I think one thing that the Warriors do have to do as a team is actually go in twos when they're taking the ball to the line to the Warriors, to the Brisbane side, because they allow themselves to be picked off.
Wait till I get set. Wait till I get set. Hold, 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 hold.
Auckland have made 58 tackles to Brisbane's 39, so they're having to do plenty of work. So far, they are holding pretty well, but they've given away one try, and if they're down here much longer, you can bet they'll give away another.
Come on, Blue. Back, 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 back.
Langer, wide blind side, goes himself.
3, on the line. Let him up, let him up, let him up. Hands away, don't push.
Kevin Walters. Darren Smith offloads it. Lovely try to Renoff. The last pass was a long swinging arm from Darren Smith, but what an impact he's made. He set up the first try, he set up the second, and every time he touches it, he is very, very fast and very incisive.
That's the point that you've got, Warren. Whenever he hits the ball, he is hitting it straight, running into the gap, so that if the defender is there, they're basically standing there watching the ball come across the field. All of a sudden, they've got to turn around, follow the ball, and they're confronted with a player running full steam ahead at them.
Well, here you have the replay, and a nice short ball. He runs into the hole beautifully, gets his arm free. I tell you, it's very hard to stop anyone from there, that's for sure. Great try by Steve Renoff. But the big thing again, that's twice that he's been involved in both tries against that big right arm coming around.
Very interesting to see where he's playing there as well. He's wearing a jersey that sees him pack in the back of the scrum. I don't know whether he's playing there right throughout the game, Gary.
I think he's been played out in the centres there, Wally. And I think the worst thing now is that the Brisbane side kick up to the Warriors again.
Roving commission.
I think he's been given the centre conversion, actually.
The last pass from where we sat looked a little suspect, but Bill Harrigan was in a perfect position to see it, and the last replay showed it looked fine.
I'll have to disagree with you there, Warren. I thought it looked all right, mate, that's for sure.
Lockyer swings it across the face again. He's just got that hook working a little too much. Fails to convert both tries, neither of them easy kicks, as Brisbane 8, Auckland 0.
Stay behind.
This is one thing that we have to look as a hit-ups from Brisbane around about 53 and Auckland only 31, but that is relative to how much ball the Auckland side haven't had and how much ball the Brisbane side have had, Warren.
Very simple mistakes. In the lead up to that try, it was a forward pass called by the touch judge. That gave the Broncos possession. You can't give them the ball 15 metres out from your own line. Lockyer restarts.
Yep.
Driving it once again down to Ridge on his own goal line. Malem brings it back well.
One. Mark it straight. Have a look.
Locking up that ball much better now. Young.
That's two.
Upended.
Roll away, roll away. Look for me, look for me. Stay on, stay on. Don't go yet, don't go yet.
Tackler was Thorne.
Don't hang on to him when you're playing the ball. That's three. Let him up, let him up, let him up, let him up. Come back. That's four. Come back, come back.
Tallis is back on the field for the Broncos. He's been out there a couple of minutes after a breather.
This is it, this is it.
On the halfway. Ridge. Lockyer watching it go over the dead ball line. No, 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 it won't. It holds up all right.
That's one. Mark it straight. Here I am, Blue. Come back to me.
Because this
Mark
is
it, don't move till it
not really
clears.
exemplified there. But the new downtown rule, which requires the chasers to stay behind the play the ball point.
There's to be a penalty there if you're having a go at him for shepherding.
Around him.
Only a slight one.
Good, there's an obstruction.
Would have been interesting to see if he could go 100 metres.
Would have been an interesting foot race with Ridge and Mundine, that's for sure, Warren.
I was about to say just before Mundine took off.
Mick, you've got to go, mate. There's too much blood. Interchange.
Hancock in the blood bin, or at least having to be changed to get the cut attended to. But once you kick downfield under Super League rules, the downtown rule, the chasers have to remain behind the point of the play the ball until the kick goes past them. So in other words, you can't charge down prematurely and surround the fullback. And we should see fullbacks being given more room to move.
I think it's a pretty good option too.
Matthew Ridge. And the flags are up. Auckland are on the board. They 8 points to 2. And interesting really that Ridge decided to take the 2 there.
Well, I can't blame him. I must say that you have a look at the game. We've been talking about how much possession that everyone's had, both teams have had. It's almost double the time. Brisbane have had it for 14 and a half minutes. Auckland haven't even had it for 10 minutes yet. But everyone watching the game would be pretty responsible, I suppose, for believing that Brisbane have this match well in hand, yet one simple kick at goal has the match back in the balance again. One try will finish it.
That's the Broncos trying to clear it away.
All right, let him up, let him up, let him up, roll away.
Webke's on the field. That was him bringing it back. Shane Webke.
That's 2, that's 2. Let him up, let him up. Have a look for me, have a look for me.
Starting sides for the Broncos last year.
That's 3, let him up, let him up, let him up.
Lazarus always leads with the shoulder. Tallis is...
Let him up, 4, let him up, 4.
Party gets him from behind.
One side, wide.
I think that's the big difference. You look at what Brisbane have made from their own goal line. They've made 60 metres, and that's the difference between them and the Warriors so far in this game.
Come back to me, Blue. Mark it straight.
Just inside the Auckland half on the last. Langer chips it. Out on the full.
Here.
And hangs his head.
Change over. Kick the last.
More to the point, as he kicked it, he threw his head back. He realised that he'd made a blunder.
On the line there. On the line there. Take it back. Yep. Get the foot on it. Steve, get your foot on when you play it.
Interesting comments from Billy Harrigan there. Get your foot on it, Steve. I thought he would have penalised him straight away for not playing the ball with his foot.
Very generous.
I was going to say he's very much in control of the game. We can see how much he's talking. Gary, I think I've finally found somebody that folk more than me at a football game.
Let him up.
I don't know whether that's a good or a bad point.
That's 4. Let him up. Let him up.
Just managing to hang on to it was Kearney. Namu. Rapati.
Play on.
Swan.
5 and last, fellas. 5 and last. Come back to me, Red.
Namu on the last. Ridge.
You're in front. You're in front. Back out.
Lockyer takes it well. Back into the in goal though, so Ridge gets the desired result.
Good follow-through from the Auckland team there, but Gary, very well shepherded by Wendell Saylor as well.
Very well. I think that Coach Wayne Meadows done a lot of work on that, and congratulations to him, Wally, too, because that's what your players out there to shepherd them so they don't get tackled in front on like that. And I think the best thing here that the Warriors had some good chases with Ropati going through and managing to get the ball back again.
Stay behind, fellas. Get on the line.
Ridge just inside the Broncos half to Young.
That's one. That's one.
Big front row back alongside his full-back.
Knock on there. You didn't get up with the ball in your hands. You left it on the ground. Must get up with the ball, he's been told.
I think he might be reminded about that one at half-time, Gary.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that.
Well, I'm just waiting for the play of the ball to be blown up when you don't touch the ball with your foot, Wally.
Heads down. Come on, second row is in.
Grant Young
Seconds
with
in,
the little
seconds in.
fumble.
Outside prop, foot up. Outside prop, outside foot up. Keep there until it's out, Blue. Stay, stay.
Mundine inside, Renoff.
Let him up now, let him up.
Bench will be watching Mundine. Renoff thinking he might just be able to find a little hole on the inside. Is
Let him up now, let him up now. That's 2, let him. Come back to me, Blue, come back,
well
come back,
tackled
come
by
back.
Kearney. Webke. Joe Vunganar's on the field, number 8 there with a big hit.
3, held.
Mundine gets outside his man and he's away. Mundine downfield. Saylor. Ridge dives at the legs. Lockyer. Langer. Knows that they must have men free somewhere. Peter Ryan. Loses it. They didn't need that, the Broncos. And now it's lost in the Tallis tackle, and the Warriors managed to come up with it again.
Here we are, bring him back.
Eru.
He was marking, that was all right. Let him up, let him up. 21, don't drag his foot. Last warning on that.
You see the Warriors just taking the ball up. They'd be better off they had someone to take the crabs off the other blokes and take them back up with them. Just getting picked up like the sitting ducks.
Roll away quick, roll away quick.
Chances for Stacey Jones, but he's lost it as well. That was difficult to hang on to. I'm sure that there will be questions asked after the game whether the balls are slippery. Now, whether it's the players simply making mistakes.
Look at me, Blue centre.
I can't answer that one, Warren. I'm not too sure.
They just seem to be dropping it in some simple situations.
Quick. Here I am, hold it. Out wide.
Lazarus.
Soon out, come back to me, we're on this line. Come back to me, come back to me.
Thorne, straight and hard.
3 now, 3 now. Come back to me, Blue, all the way.
Langer goes himself, still going.
It's a 0 tackle. Back it up, back it up. That's 4.
Mundine.
This is it, this is it.
Very slippery, Mundine.
I think the Warriors will really have to watch their blind side now. They only got the winger over there. Everyone else has come out to the open. I think Alfie will pick that up shortly.
Anthony Mundine can't get up.
In 5. There. Hey, well, back towards the 20. That'll do you there.
Andrew G will play it for him.
Last tackle.
On the last, Langer kicks off the outside edge of his boot, and it's easily taken by Swan.
0 there, put him up, quickly.
Saylor was ready to chase the Langer kick, but it wasn't good enough.
Put him up now, tackle one, here I am, Red.
In fact, Alan Langer's kicking game has not been perfect.
When you've got all the ball, it doesn't really matter about your kicks, does it really? He's had one go to the in goal, but the thing is that he's picked that up on the blind side there and tried to get Wendell Saylor to go there and pick the ball.
tackle by Thorne.
Come back to me, fellas, come back to me.
Hoppy.
5 and last.
See in the far corner there, Mundine is still down after that tackle.
There's some frowns in the Broncos camp if their star signing is badly hurt, and he's being lifted to his feet now. Well, this is something of a tragedy. Anthony Mundine, who did say during the week, or at least there were reports that he was homesick, that he wasn't getting enough ball in the Broncos lineup, but now he's got something worse, an injury. Serious by the look of it.
Get yourself set before you come in, fellas. Yeah, all right. Don't get set, in you go. Inside foot back, inside foot back.
And has to duck as Alan Langer suddenly changed direction. Renoff, Ellis, missed him. Still going Renoff. Mark Ellis comes in now, makes the tackle. But Ellis actually dived and Renoff had disappeared from the spot. Ellis took grass, nothing else.
No, nothing on that.
Mind you, the footwork of Renoff is superb.
The big thing here with the Broncos, they are so devastating, they just destroy you from any broken play. Now that's what's really hurting the Warriors.
Thorne, there's no one on his left. Hancock was just a little behind. There was no room anyway. Here's Hancock.
4. Come back to me, Blue. Here I am.
Young
Come on,
off
come
him
back.
slowly.
Don't go. 14, listen to my call.
Smith fends off Rapati.
This is it.
Fifth tackle, 30 metres. Langer tries to judge the kick better this time, and does. Hoppy. Oh, runs into Tallis.
Zero, Marcus straight. Marcus
Didn't
straight.
quite nail him.
There, one drop out.
Ridge.
2 now, let him up, don't flop. Onside.
Just over 2 minutes till half time. Brisbane leading 8-2.
That's 3, let him up, let go.
Once again, Warren, you can see that the Warrior forwards are just run out and just getting picked off so easily. They're not even making half the time the advantage line.
5 and last.
Grant Young is down on the last tackle. Namu's kick down the sideline is a good one. There's not feed. There's Anthony Mundine. The golf cart, if that's what you want to call it, with the red flashing light, taking him back to the dressing room. When Lazarus sucking them in just before half-time. Nobody seems to want to tack this scrum too quickly.
I'll tell you what, it's a long walk to the scrum, isn't it, Warren?
It's a stroll by both teams. Be lucky if we get it in. There's still 2 minutes till half-time. We might not get in any more play.
You can see the players. I don't think they want another scrum.
Okay, sit yourselves. When you come, down.
Darren Smith has gone into the centres. Renoff. Ellis gets him this time with a bit of help from Namu.
Roll away, quick. That's 1. Hold. Don't go till I played.
Ryan to Lockyer, who can't hang on to it.
It went that way first, then it come off Blue loose and free.
Started up quickly in defence all over Lockyer. He couldn't hang on to the pass.
Good move, from Stacey there to get up quickly and put them under pressure. You can see here, he just thought he was going to catch him past there, but Stacey doing a great job, put that pressure on those Broncos all the time.
Chance just before half-time for the Warriors. Ridge's kick rebounds off Lockyer. Picked up by Namu. They've got another 6 tackles, but they've only got 30 seconds. Swan.
Tackle 2.
Logan Swan plays it back. Jones. Kearney. Plenty of defence there. Throws it on the ground, and Lazarus scrambles for it.
Let him up.
Desperation by Lazarus, but Kearney trying just too hard, knowing time was getting away. The pass was loose. Now it's lost by the Broncos.
Redden off. Loose and free.
A scrappy piece of play just before half-time break. And Once again, no one's in a hurry to pack this scrum, wondering whether the siren's gone.
Wait till I get it. Yeah, I know. Get ready to pack.
Players reckon that they should be able to go off, but the referee says he hasn't heard the siren. If he takes a vote, it'll be unanimous that we go off.
I think the vote was taken.
So the Broncos scoring 2 unconverted tries, leading Auckland by 8 points to 2. Matthew Ridge kicking the goal, the penalty goal for Auckland. But really, Brisbane looked the better side for much of it.
Yeah, well, they had most of the ball for the half, and I think that was the big thing that Wayne Bennett was saying to them at half-time, is make sure that you control the ball and you'll win the game. The Warriors still aren't without the grasp of this game. They've had to score 1 try, then they're back in the hunt, Warren.
Yeah, the Warriors' defence was tested. They worked hard at it, but very hard to hold out the Broncos, particularly when you're making the mistakes in handling. Warriors were. Mind you, the Broncos later in the half also made a few handling boo-boos.
Well, I think it's pretty even. I think it's around about 10 each, the mistakes, and most of them have all come from handling, which I think both coaches will be very, very disappointed in. You know, I think there'll be a lot of chat at half-time about holding the ball, get a set of 6, but the Warriors definitely got to get some more backup. Otherwise, like I've said before, throughout the whole first half, they're just going to be picked off.
The Warriors dressing room as the players come in, and you'd have to say the Broncos look more dangerous, and Darren Smith probably their best player. He certainly was the man who set up both tries.
Well, playing lock but actually playing out in the centres, I think he's been set. He has been their best player. Their kicking game, like you said, hasn't been the best, but they really haven't had to do a lot of kicking. They've got the ball back down on the Warriors' 20 to 30 metre mark, and they've always attacked as much as they can. That's what we expect from the Broncos, and that's what they do so well.
The fireworks starting to go off here as the half-time celebrations begin.
Well, first half of Super League's first game, and we have the Auckland Warriors trailing Brisbane Broncos 8-2. I guess, Mark, there was not really any surprise in what we've seen so far in terms of the Broncos having dominance, and they had a lot more possession as well.
They certainly did, Debbie. I think the game's gone that way, that naturally Brisbane have had more of the possession and they've dominated play accordingly. But their defence is the thing that's really impressed me. A few opportunities that Auckland have had, Brisbane have snuffed them out pretty quickly.
Most of the first half we've seen down at our end of the field, which is down in Auckland's red zone, which is now clearly marked on the field for everyone to see, especially if you're at home. You get an idea of when you're in trouble, when that red line comes up on the screen. But Warriors, to me, seem to be going not too badly up the middle, but struggling out wide.
That's definitely the case. I think they've got a bit of work to do out there. I think Mark Ellis has come up short a couple of times. We'll see on the highlights of the 2 tries, but as you say, that red zone's been marked on the field to indicate either you're going well or you're in trouble, and every time Brisbane's got down there, there's certainly been alarm bells for Auckland.
Yeah, there's been a lot of little chip kicks from Alan Langer. He's put pressure on them several times inside the Auckland in goal. But let's take a look at how one of those little Langer chip kicks actually ultimately led to the first try of the match to the Brisbane Broncos. But let's look at the penalty that caused Brisbane to be in a position to score.
Kick on this last.
There's the chip kick from Langer, and you can see Matthew Ridge actually fumbled that.
Yeah, well, he obviously took exception to what happened behind the end goal there, and it's in the end doesn't look like much there, but in the end it's cost Auckland dearly.
Yeah, it was just that throwing the ball away and slowing down the play that led to this. They had another set of 6 to renew the attack.
Yeah, well, you see Johnny Driscoll there point down the other side of the field, which indicates that at some stage they're going to come back this way.
And they certainly did.
That's been an interesting feature of their play tonight. You saw Glenn Lazarus there early in the movement. They've used him in that distributing role a couple of times and to good effect.
Yeah, well, the pass that set up the try there was from Darren Smith, that sort of pass to the outside man coming in on his inside. The man was Michael Hancock, and that made the score 4-0. Darren Lockyer hasn't been going too well with the boot, and he hasn't converted either of Brisbane's tries. We're going to see that one again, and as you can see, they've been targeting Mark Ellis, who's the man there that falls off Darren Smith.
Yeah, 2 players showing a great deal of strength there. Darren Smith certainly a handful. He's played a fair bit of back row, and Mick Hancock, as we all know, is probably the strongest wingman in the game, and he certainly showed there that he beat 2 off with the 1 blow, and
got the ball down nice and cleanly.
Would John Money be entitled to be a little disappointed in his three-quarter line defensive effort there?
I think he's probably got a few concerns there. As you see, Mark Ellis, he got stretched a little bit. He got caught out by, and I think it was speed more than anything, but he then compounded that by going low into the tackle and not wrapping up the ball.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you had Namu falling, basically being barreled by Michael Hancock, and Hoppy not really being able to do much about it either. And the second try, actually, not an awful lot different. Darren Smith was the guy who threw the last pass again, and it happened in around about the same part of the field. As you can see, Langer again, he's been a constant threat to them, especially once they get inside that red zone.
Yeah, well, he has been, and obviously they play pretty smart, the Bronco. You'll notice on both of these tries, they have a little spar out to the right, and then they come back to the left where they believe, I think, Mark Ellis is the weakness that they're aiming at, and they've certainly got mileage out of that.
Well, it's paid off for them twice there, and Darren Smith, again, the man throwing the last pass, and there he really just got on top of two defenders who both had hold of him, but they couldn't stop the ball. Mark Ellis, again, the man in the gun, as we've been talking about. But Smith is just proving too big and a bit too fast for them out there, it seems. Yeah,
I thought initially that Mark Ellis might have got caught in the wrong spot again, but I don't think that was the case. He was entitled to go into Smith, but what he was entitled to do in doing so was to wrap the ball up. He never did that.
Yeah, basically.
And it allowed Smith to get the ball away.
So you've got two defenders on the one man and they still don't stop the ball. It's that close to your try line. That means trouble. So that made the score 8-0. Again, Lockyer missed with the conversion attempt, and the only points to Auckland came later in the half with a penalty goal to Matthew Ridge, and of course it was a pretty easy goal. He eats them for breakfast. Yeah,
well, he would have thrown that one over, I think.
Yeah. One of the things that I guess has been a feature of the first half, and Brisbane fans would be a little sort of unsettled by it, the fact that it's not been the best first 40 minutes for either Gordon Tallis or Anthony Mundine in the Broncos jersey. Mundine has gone off hurt.
Not a happy night for the debutants in general, Deb, for their clubs. As you say, Mundine's off hurt. Tallis has made a few errors, and for Auckland, Matthew Ridge made that probably faux pas in the back there that led to a try, and Grant Young's dropped the ball a couple of times as well. So I suppose it takes a little while to settle in at a new club, and hopefully we'll see better things from them in the second half. Probably not Mundine, though.
Yeah, we'll find out, I'm sure, at some stage what exactly is the extent of that injury, but as you said straight away when he was injured, this looked like it could be serious. Well, we'll find out. But we've been bagging the Warriors a bit. Can we any optimism, anything in their performance to suggest they can come back in the second half?
Yeah, I think bagging might be too harsh a word, Debbie. I think, they're on a roll.
I've been bagging it.
It's only 8-2 at this stage. They're travelling along okay, but I don't think they've really had enough impact, or they've never really looked to threaten the Broncos to this stage. But the key man for them is obviously Stephen Kearney. He's the one that sort of leads them from the front, and he's the player that has looked most dangerous out there today.
There's the statistics that we're referring to. I guess the possession tells a lot of the story of that first half, Mark, 60-40.
Certainly does. The possession, as you say, and the time spent in your own half. Obviously, Brisbane has spent very little in theirs. Auckland have been pinned in their half for a long time, and a lot of that 64% would be in the red zone. So that's basically the first half in a nutshell. Yeah,
it's amazing. Only 89 tackles for Auckland, considering how much possession they've conceded, and just maybe that's a story too.
Well, that's true, yeah. As I say, they're not going too badly, but they just have to pick up in certain areas, and they just seem to lack that impact player, particularly, as you mentioned earlier, in the back line.
Yeah, well, maybe Stacey Jones or Jean Namu, someone might make things happen for the Warriors in the second half. So let's cross now back to our commentators, Warren Boland and Gary Freeman.
The Warriors are coming back on. See, they looked at the scoreboard there, Reggie. They know they're only with one try and they're back in the game. Well, they're in the game and they've only scored one try for all the match so far.
Yeah, it must be using up some juice. The Auckland forwards being forced to make a lot of tackles to try and contain the Broncos after the errors that have been handing the Broncos possession. And then you suddenly get the ball 10 metres out from your own line. It's pretty hard to have much sting in your attack through the forwards.
to get the forwards motivated. That's why I think the wingers and the centres and even the halves have got to get in there and make some good darting runs from dummy half and get them back on a roll.
Sean Hoppy might be one man who could do that. But you're right, Sid Eru has been dashing out a dummy half pretty sharply. Let's see what the second half has for us, with the Broncos leading the Warriors 8-2 at ANZ Stadium in Brisbane. Broncos may be feeling fairly comfortable in the fact that they've come into this game hot favourites. They are in front, but should that try be scored, that'll really shake them up.
You want him? Okay, all behind.
Bill Harrigan with a whistle for the second half. Ridge drives it downfield. Lockyer, his opposite number and position, takes it. Brad Thorne brings it back well with a swivel to make another few yards.
Onside.
G.
Yeah, that's two. All on beyond.
Tallis, one off the ruck. Running strongly. Still going is Gordon Tallis. Here comes the cover. Betts got to him. Saylor. Langer. Dummies to Walters.
Ball now, let him up, roll away. No hands. Have a look at this, roll off, come back.
Walters across the ruck. Tallis again. He made the break that got them downfield.
This is it, onside, back there.
15 out on the fifth tackle. Driscoll. Langer. Kicks high towards Hoppy's wing. Ellis has got it on the bounce. Nobody went for it.
That's a zero.
Tell you what, they're very lucky to get out of that Auckland. Now they've really got to work hard. They're all coming around in a bunch. They want to get away from the ball and make some yards for their forwards.
Wasn't a bad kick by Langer, but none of the Broncos jumped for it. Renoff jumped in the air, but he was miles away from it. So the Warriors have to work it away from their own red zone.
Again, once we're seeing here, Warren is the Warrior forwards. They're going forward, but look, there's no one going with them. You don't take anything away from anyone.
This is it.
There's Vangana, now it's Betts, just short of halfway. Namu under pressure from Thorne. Got a useful kick away towards Lockyer. Ellis and Hoppy make the tackle. And it's lost. Well, it's just come straight out of the hands of Darren Lockyer on the zero tackle.
And it's turned around and it's gone back to the Broncos ball. The Warrior player's gone out on the first tackle.
Just look at this. Darren Lockyer bringing it back. Remember, this tackle doesn't even against them. Out it comes.
Red loose.
But then the Warriors gave it away again.
In the second row, in you go.
Renoff. Almost away. And Ellis has been hurt as he made that tackle.
Let him up now.
Ellis clutching at his throat. He tackled Renoff and then fell back, grabbing at his throat, and Renoff got away.
That's two now. Let him up. Come on. Laying on top of him. Nope. He's laying on his legs. He's got to roll away.
Just gets a bad ankle right in the throat there. I think the best thing John Maney could do now is get him off as quickly as he can and get a full 13 side out there.
Grant Young giving away the penalty, not for the first time, for holding on in the tackle. Lazarus throws it backwards.
1-2 in the tackle. Break away. Hold. Break away. 2 in the tackle.
One man in the tackle can steal the ball. 2 or more can't.
Let him up now. Roll off. Don't use your hands and roll away. Use your hands.
Driscoll. Langer. Holds it up for Saylor. He's lost it. Well, how many times are we going to say that in this game?
Well, Warren, I don't think he's lost. He's trying to force the passes, Wendell Saylor, and it's a silly thing to do because it's only their second tackle. I tell you, Wayne Bennett will not be happy.
Still 8-2. Here's Saylor. Yeah, you're right, he did too. Tried to get it away and all sorts of traffic. If it had found its man, I suppose it would have been a miracle pass, but it wasn't on at all. Broncos have now made more errors than Auckland, 13 to 11.
Let him up.
Swan good run with the pass. Well, he's held on to it. Looked as if he tried to throw a pass straight through Kevin Walters. Vangana to Young. Well, that's a basketball pass if I've ever seen one, to Kearney. This is panic stuff. Kearney's dropped it. Extraordinary.
Hey, I'm refereeing this game. It was knocked straight down under his feet.
You hear the referee telling the players very, very sternly there that he is the referee of the game to Warren.
Well, I don't know whether in the one-on-one situation where you can steal the ball.
Whoa.
Players
Brad,
are going in.
Get set before you come in. Don't go until they're set.
To deliberately knock the ball out.
Get your head in where it belongs. Second row. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. I'm standing there waving you back. Go back.
You've got to be 5 metres back from the scrum base. So the Warriors concede another penalty. And Brad Thorne is clearly very close. He's over the line. It's a try.
That's just brute strength, let me tell you. That's brute strength and determination. Just took the ball forward. The Warrior players didn't even get off the line to try to tackle him.
Brad Thorne, plenty of skill there as well as the strength, but sure, the strength was the main thing, but equally, the Warriors just didn't move off their line, as you said, Gary.
Mate, they didn't. You can see Dennis Betts going high, trying to stop the play, but Tierro Fardy didn't even get off the line to try and help him. That's the place where it went wrong. Isn't he happy too, Brad Thorne?
Well, that's a very important try because the Broncos suddenly leading by 12 points to 2, Wally Lewis.
Yeah, it's put a big break in there. I'm sure that that would make the Broncos feel a lot happier. Wayne Bennett a lot happier. The confidence level that we'll see from the team is likely to be a little bit different. I've got to agree with you there, though, Gary. I thought it was really the defence that was just as responsible for that try as the big fella's brute strength. They just didn't look like they were prepared for it. I think it's going to cost them pretty badly for the rest of the game.
Once they gave the penalty away, they just didn't have the urgency you need to get back and set the defensive line. Darren Lockyer, none of the kicks have been easy for him. This might suit him. He can bring it around, and he does. Off that left boot for his first successful kick of the night, and the Broncos leading by 14 points to 2. And early in the second half, that is a very handy try to score.
As you said, Warren, very handy. And again, once again, we see the Broncos kicking up the Warriors, and now they've got to work out of their own red zone, as we call it nowadays, to try and make some errors. 12 points the difference now.
Lockyer, nearly every kick, whether it's been Lockyer or Rich, starts have come down in identical positions, 1 metre into the field of play.
Get away! Onside, come back to me next time, all the way back.
Well, a little clumsy there. The timing wasn't right from Logan Swan. His work with the dummy half. They just didn't hit the advantage line hard enough.
I think that's their problem.
Let him up, roll away, 3.
They're putting the ball behind the first runner, but the problem is the second runner receiving the ball is getting it behind the advantage line, not on the advantage line.
Yep, their timing's just not good enough around the rucks. They need every metre they can get.
5 and last, 4.
Bill Harrigan corrects himself. Did Ridge get the correction? He puts the kick through anyway. Saylor on the line. He was lost in space. Well, Wendell Saylor.
This will be an interesting decision, though, this one, Warren. Of course, if he's standing on the line when he takes the ball is deemed to be out.
Yeah, so it's out. Oh, you're saying, okay, you're saying who gets the feed here.
That's right. It's going to be very interesting to see who the touch judge, and the ball is being given to Auckland. So he said that the ball was caught. Now, although the ball was caught mid-air, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. It's where the ball is in possession of the player when they are on the ground.
Yeah, good call, Wally. So the Warriors with a chance here. Whether they should have possession or not, they've got it. And Eru is only 8 out.
On the line.
Betts.
Roll away, quick, hands away. Don't stay there.
Jones gets it wide to Kearney. He's put it down again, Stephen Kearney.
Yeah, play on. Off his foot.
Hancock comes up with it.
That'll learn.
Stephen Kearney has dropped it too many times tonight.
Onside, Blue.
It was good run. Alan Langer, though. That was great defence there to get up in his face and put him under a lot of pressure.
Roll off him. Come back to me, Blue. Come back to me. 12. Don't put the hand in.
Driscoll with a good run.
That's 3.
Slowish play the ball, though. Kevin Walters wraps around his half-back. Lockyer. Lockyer's away.
4.
The dam is breaking.
3 coming.
Lazarus decides to run it. Should have given it. Still going. Don't know why he didn't pass it. Langer tries a little kick. Sailors coming through on Ridge.
Great catch here by Matthew Ridge. Plenty of pressure on him.
The Warriors take the 20 tap quickly.
Come back to me, Red.
Eru gets to his feet. There's the take by Ridge under pressure.
Let him up. Good, coming back, 10. On now.
Having said that the kick by Langer was good and Sailor put the pressure on, I'm not so sure that they didn't have a better chance of running it into the corner. Langer's been intent on the short kicks all night. They've been loath to run it.
Sailing too close. Get him down. Too close.
That might be a little bit of a reminder from last year. It was Grant Young playing up here last year at the Crushers. Once or twice, he and Andrew G have investigated each other's health. Nice to see that there's still a little bit of old forward play contact going on.
Yep.
Another chance here for the Warriors to get a little closer. 20 metres out.
Come back to me, Red. Come back to me.
Malum.
2 now, let him up, 8. Come back. 3 now. On the line.
Namu searching. Ridge.
That's 4 now, lean up. Get the hands out. This is it.
Eru tried to go through himself. Namu. Jones. Ropati has Ellis behind him. Over the sideline. There's a little hole. And Gavin Jones is on the sideline. Gavin, what news about the injuries?
Well, apparently I've been into the rooms. Anthony Mundine, very, very fortunately, hasn't broken his ankle, but he's got some serious ligamentary damage, and as a result of that, they estimate he may be out of the game for 4 weeks to come.
Too long now. Move it.
Not the way you'd want to start your career with a new club.
No, he was playing extraordinarily well, and it's a very unfortunate incident, that's for sure.
Red lock on.
Thanks, Gavin.
Red dragged it forward.
Well, the Broncos are making enough mistakes to get the Warriors back into this match. The Warriors have had a number of chances in this area of the field, 30 metres out with 6 tackles.
Yeah, they have, but I think we have to go back to what Gavin was saying, and I think he meant ligament damage, not ligamentarian damage. But anyway, he's pretty close for the big fella. He did play in the front row.
Is that like parliamentarian?
Back outside up.
Namu crossfield,
Here I am.
dummying.
Off the tackle play, quicker.
Horo.
Right, roll away. Quick, that's 2.
Tony Carroll's on for the Broncos. Betts goes up the middle.
3, roll away, 3. Roll off him.
Jones almost got away from Langer.
4, roll off him.
10 out. Malum gets it back. Betts. Namu tries the kick. Swan's racing through on it, but Lockyer's got it covered.
On the deck, foot on it.
It all boils back down to that. There's no backup for them at all. You know, they're all going one out still. And mate, Brisbane will just slide on them and just move. And the next minute, G's got to try and kick the ball. There's no one chasing through Warren.
Thorne now takes it up.
And 2, roll off him now. Brisbane, you let go of his jersey and play the ball.
Ryan. Over the halfway.
That's 3 now, that's 3. Hold on. Centre, hold.
Ridge has a long chase. He was up closer in defence. Luckily for him, it's gone over the dead ball. Otherwise, he would have been having the job to get out of the in goal. Hoppy has had to come looking for work. He's not going to get the ball on the wing.
Here I am, Red. Come back. You're not coming back. Last warning, get back.
Brady Malem's working hard. Last few sets, he's been there to take it up. Horo.
Get up off him. Have a look for me, Red. Have a look.
Kearney.
Help! 3.
Peter Ryan with the ball and all tackle.
Smush.
Ridge up the middle. Got away from one tackle.
Let's go now. Let him up, let him up, let him up, let him up.
Just inside the Broncos' half. Betts. Namu. Rapati.
Final last.
35 out on the last. Namu.
In goal.
Touch in goal from Namu. It was always just a ground-gaining attempt by Namu with the boot. There was nothing more.
Well, I'll tell you what, even if Gene had got through to chase the ball, there was no one there to help him out. So if the Lockie had caught it and ran it, I think he would have beaten him anyway.
Okay, roll off him. Roll away. Come back, Blue.
Lazarus and Ryan take it up.
Move it back. Come on, look.
Now Webke, full of running.
Help! 3. There.
John Plathon for the Broncos. Tallis.
That's ball. Roll away. Quick. Roll away.
3 of them put Tallis on the ground. Langer. Webke again.
Keep him down. This is it.
Langer with a kick. They're all onside, including Hancock, who is steaming through. Hoppy will not want to muck around. He does. Knocks it back. Hancock's there. Hoppy back into the field.
Play the ball.
One point that Brisbane seemed to is, that really is something that
Well, Mark Ellis,
the Auckland coach wouldn't be all that happy about. There was an opportunity there. I mean, there was plenty of pressure coming through by the Brisbane defence. Terrific work, of course, by Mick Hancock, who always steams. He's a real I probably thought Auckland, they were a little bit unlucky not to get a penalty. I thought they should have got a penalty for that. But this is really something that I felt he just sort of fell. Thought he should have fallen into the field of play just to grab the 2 or 3 metres.
Mark Ellis made the mistake of trying to look at Peter Ryan, because Peter Ryan is always going to drive you backwards. Tried to stare him down and step away from him. Shane Webke loses it. It ricochets forward. The Warriors just look at it. They weren't in any hurry. It'll be a scrum.
Yeah, you said, Wally, at least they're out of jail now. They get the ball back. Some sort of attacking play they need to put on to try and put the Brisbane side under a bit more pressure than they are.
Both teams have made 15 errors. The Broncos won't be proud of this performance either. But they'll be happy with the score. It's 14-2 in their favour midway through the second half.
Come on, get out of there. Break away from that scrum. Let him up now, Hands wide.
You hear the referee in there trying to clear the play-the-ball area.
2 now. Come back to me, Red.
All the Super League coaches and the referees had a meeting during the week to try and iron out
Come back to me.
what's a fair, quick play-the-ball. Sid Eru has worked hard.
Come on. Up off him. Don't worry about looking at him. You're laying on top of him. Roll away.
Against Tony Carroll, who was born in New Zealand many years ago. In fact, Brad Thorne and Tony Carroll, both originally from New Zealand.
Webby. Come on, quick.
You love to have them in the black and white jersey.
Yep. When you get Bonnie, come on.
You've got Grant Young after playing for the Crushers last year.
An extra 2 wouldn't go astray.
Jones, Namu. Kearney lingering wide. Well tackled by Renoff.
Have a look at me, Red.
Logan Swan. That's a great tackle by Alan Langer, and flat in there too.
3.
Horo not far away from the line. Namu. Ridge. On the angle is Rapati. Shepherd. Well, surely Thorne's tackle was impeded. Kearney with the ball.
4 now. Let him up. Don't lay on him.
They're only 20 out. Darren Smith had the hand on Kearney. Langer.
This is it, fellas.
Won't let up on Jones.
This could be a very important play. This one, they've got to be able to put the ball in the air or put the Brisbane Broncos under a little bit of pressure.
Well, the kick didn't really worry Saylor at all. He's still going, Wendell Saylor. He dances away from Ben now.
Well, it's unfortunate, I think, there, Warren, but it was a situation in the game where there's just on around about 20 minutes, halfway through the second half. Now, it's well known that
Get up off him.
a lot of the games are often won or lost in that period of play. They had to try and put the Brisbane Broncos under the microscope. Perhaps they'll still be able to.
In very simple fashion, Peter Ryan puts it down. That ball must be slippery, surely.
Something's wrong out there, that's for sure.
Well, their hands are slippery. Something's slippery.
I think nowadays you actually get stuff to spray your hands so the ball doesn't come off them.
Horo goes underneath a Peter Ryan hit.
Tackle 2, hold 2, mate. You've got Clarence all over you. Leave there for 2.
Andrew G, the man with the blood. Anyone for a nice drop of red. There's Mark Horo. Played for Parramatta, he played for West. He was injured, virtually missed a couple of seasons. Back into Test football in the last couple of years.
Here I am, here.
You just see Joe Vagana has just come onto the field. He's had his nice little rest on the sideline, taking the ball up there strongly.
Going well, Joe Vagana up to the 20. Puts the Warriors on the attack.
Back to me.
They had the break to set themselves, work out what they were going to do with the ball. Ridge, Ellis. That's a good backline move.
Let him up.
Well tackled in the end by Darren Smith, who read it. Namu. Betts. The ball up on the shoulder. He hangs onto it. Gets it away now. Namu. Swan. Rapati evades the tackle of Langer. Still going. Good football by the Warriors.
Roll away.
Rapati to play it. Tia Rapati.
Still going under the tackle.
Jones. Best set of 6 by the Warriors in the match. Kearney. Renoff goes tumbling.
That was it. No, that was it. Called it.
Well, the best set of 6 didn't end with a great 6 tackle, did it? In the end, they just killed it.
Tackle 1, fellas. Tackle 1 on the line. Come back.
Hancock.
That's 2 now. Let him up. Straight away.
As usual, takes 3 men to hang on to him. Thorne gets some quick-moving defence from Sid Eru.
That's 3 now. Come back to me. Come on, Blue. Come on, work.
In fact, that was Vangana up there. G heads towards Betts.
4 now. Come back to me, Blue.
Langer very flat. Still going, looking for Ryan. Namu for the Warriors. Jones has Ellis outside and he goes inside. Luckily, it goes to Hoppy.
Let him up. Roll away.
Lazarus coming back out.
Over there.
Ellis.
Tackle 2, let him up. Roll away.
Mark Ellis has found it tougher than that World Cup match against Japan in Union when he scored 6 tries. Logan Swan.
That's 3. Here I am.
Ridge is up at dummy half trying to get them moving. Namu. Betts. Well tackled by Ryan. The Broncos forward of the year last year.
Have a look at me, Red.
Despite the presence of some big names. Vangana wasn't expecting it. He thought he was a decoy. Kearney gives it to Ridge.
I'll tell you what, Warren, there's a lot of movement, but there's not a lot of go forward, let me tell you. Without them making a mistake, Brisbane Broncos, the Warriors really haven't even made a chance to break it.
They're absolutely right. Anthony Swan, a solo effort, beat 3 or 4, but they were going backwards at a rate of knots. Ridge to Horo. He's upended and throws it away. Darren Smith was the tackler. Hit him hard. Chances, the ball's loose and Lockyer's not there. Was it knocked forward? Matthew Ridge is going off.
He knocked it on. He knocked it on. Do not argue with me, Captain. Welcome back.
Well, Matthew Ridge has been known to dispute a call or two in his Manly days.
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't do that as captain.
I agree with you wholly there, Wally. That's for sure.
Well, you could tell Ridge was very frustrated. He thought that the Warriors only scored a try that would have put them back in the hunt for the points in this match. Still 14 minutes to go.
That's 2. Let him up. Let him up. Come back to me.
Let's have another look at it. Gary.
Here we go. You see the kick being put over by Stacey Jones?
That's 3.
Oh, he definitely touched it. So there's no complaints there, that's for sure.
Lockyer got a terrible bounce.
Get up off him. Get up
Matthew
off
Ridge
him.
might be a little embarrassed at the tirade towards Bill Harrigan after the game. But he probably won't send an apology in the mail.
5 and last. Don't touch him. Let him up.
The Broncos are only 20 out, meanwhile, and it's Langer putting up the bomb. Coming through is Saylor. Anyone's ball.
You were called offside, winger. Offside.
Wendell Saylor turns towards the touch judge and says, surely it wasn't me who was offside. There's the incident that came forward.
Yep.
Auckland have made a total of 160 tackles. Brisbane 139.
Let him up, one. Have a look at me, Red. Have a look at me, Red.
Mangana.
That's 2. You lost it. No hands, you lost it. No hands.
Well, Joe Mangana down on his hands and knees. Played for New Zealand off the bench last year.
Red and blue, in there.
After he represented Western Samoa in the World Cup of 95. Just 21. He's going to have a rest. But he has been involved in this second half performance, Joe Mangana, than he produced in the first.
He certainly has been more involved, but I think the big thing is with the big fellas, they need more time on the field. He's only had in this half around about probably 10 or 15 minutes total.
Hang on, no, it's not.
Tallis loses it backwards.
Okay, here we are, fellas, that's 1.
When he was already on the ground. Saylor.
That's 2, let him up. Don't lay on him, don't lay. 14, too long. You're standing with the hands on him.
14 is Mark Horo. Gene Namu also was involved. Darren Lockyer decides he won't go for goal, goes for the try. That was an easy 2 on offer, but the Broncos are hungry. I want to provide a little entertainment. But at 14 points to 2, Wally, what would you have done?
I believe it should have been a kick at goal. It was a very easy one, straight out in front, around about 20 metres, and it would have put them more than 2 converted tries in front. And that, to me, is great insurance.
Let him go, he'll move.
Well, if they go for a field goal here, they've made a very silly decision. Tallis going for the try instead. What would you have done, Gary?
Well, I think I would have been inclined to do what Wally does, but this is Brisbane and they'd always go for the try.
Lazarus motoring. Looks, he's lost it. Lost it over the line.
There's the big fella here, striding out, you might as well say, Warren. You've got big Steve Kearney hanging on the back, but I think what helps him out is Matthew Ridge just puts his foot underneath him and drags the ball out.
Yeah, that was interesting. Was it over the line or before the line? That
I'd say it was before. Warren.
Lost, in which case should have been a scrum. Langer.
That's second one.
We haven't seen the video referee called into play in this match.
I think it was good refereeing by Bill Harrigan anyway. He's right on the spot, made a decision and went with it.
Sure, well, it was no try, clearly. That's the main thing. Here's Brad Thorne with a good run. Gets it away. Hancock.
Tackle two.
Gene Namu, who's just coming back after missing a tackle, holds Darren Smith.
Now.
Lazarus has his sights set on a four-pointer. Langer being given plenty of latitude to Tallis. Tallis reaches out.
Well, the referee was right on the mark again to make a decision, but I'll tell you what, I'd love to see this on video. Give us a replay.
Come in here, fellas.
Well, Bill Harrigan, very confident that he's got it right. Let's have a look at it from head on. Gordon Tallis for the line.
Well, the big fella really takes on Stacey Jones out wide. Get out the big left-hand fend. Gets the ball over. He dropped the ball. Good decision by Billy Harrigan.
Bounced it forward.
I think he dropped it before it even got there, Warren.
He bounced it forward from just short of the line.
On the hole.
Taking on Stacey Jones. Good target.
Probably the only time the Auckland defence has really hung off Langer to provide that opportunity for Tallis to hit the hole.
Gee, from side on, I wouldn't mind watching it once more in even slower motion. Bill Harrigan had a very good view of it.
Very important for the Auckland boys here. They've just got to be able to. They've got to be able to work away from their line and provide a downtown kick. Get out of their own territory. They've been down here for about the last, I was about to say 7 or 8 minutes.
Let's have one more look at this. See whether he gets a piece of the white line.
330.
No, he's dropped it.
Blue mark on the 30.
Looked like he may have regained possession with hand down there. Then again, it's very easy sitting up here in a box where we can slow things down by 500 times.
But the thing is, Bill Harrigan didn't even ask for the video the video replay. He was quite confident it was short, and I think I've got to say he was right.
I think he did a great decision there. He was right on the mark, didn't worry about it, and I thought he dropped the ball before the line anyway. Good decision by the referee.
Walters has it squeezed out on the first tackle. Well, you've got to say it.
Well,
This has been a pretty clumsy display by both teams.
There we had the referee asking, was that the real problem? Was it the balls?
only you can find out, Wally, that's for sure. 40 errors in a game of football. I think both coaches will be very happy with that.
That's one.
Ridge, a little flat-footed. He had to wait for that pass. It floated out to him. Anthony Swan has shown some good deceptive running.
That's two, fellas. That's two. Let him up. Let
The
him up.
amount of opportunities that he had, which hasn't been too many, Warren, he's done it right, I think.
Yeah. That's gone Australia, so it was headed towards Tia Rapati.
In here, fellas. 20 in.
Early in the tackle count. 42,361. Great attendance for the first game of Super League.
Heads down. One hole.
Maybe the occasion has been a little too much for both teams.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on all the players out there to perform, but maybe there is some great play there, though.
Tony Carroll.
Let him up. Let him up. Let him up. Lose it.
Really hit the scene at the end of last year, Tony Carroll.
Hey. All right, we're going to push a little call.
Kevin Walters was heading away down the blind side, but the referee has found a little knock on. Sideru thinks it's pretty funny.
Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. It's out.
Stacey Jones with the old rugby halfback dummy pass, trying to get them to come around offside.
Let him up. Let him up. Let him up.
At this stage of the game, with only about 6.5 minutes left, you better try on something.
It might be dive passing before the game
Let
finishes.
him up. Let him up now. Let him up now.
Betts.
That's three now. Let him up. Let him up.
Late switch of play to Kearney.
Four now. Four now. Come back to me, Red.
6 minutes left. Should the Warriors score a try, they are still in with a chance of getting a draw. They need converted tries. 6 minutes left. They need one very soon. Jones. And he finds touch. And that won't worry the Broncos, though. They'll have the scrum feed. Stephen Kearney hobbling over to this scrum. Stacey Jones has been one of the busier players. Darren Smith, one of the better players on the field.
It'll be interesting to see, with this scrum being 20 metres in, whether they have a go down the wing near Sean Hoppy and try to put some pressure on them.
Have a look for him, Bax. Have a look for him.
It'll be interesting to see that line breaks by Brisbane. You know, about 9 and the Auckland Warriors 1. So I think John Maney really has to do some work on that.
Right, let him up, roll away, roll away.
I think that hits the nail on the head. The difference between the two teams has been the Broncos' attacking ability. Their players in attack. They've made plenty of mistakes. They've missed plenty of tackles.
Let him up, don't hold the foot.
They've made all that, but they're still winning the game. That's exactly the big thing. And when they've made breaks, they've gone ahead and scored tries, Warren. I think that's the big thing about this game, is that if they made a break, someone's been there to back them up. And Smith's put on 2 great balls to score 2 great tries.
Tackle 2 now, tackle 2 now. Tackle 3 now, let him up.
Malum to play it.
Quick, come in. Yeah, you're on.
They're inside the 30 with Betts raiding away. Still going, Dennis Betts.
Let him up.
Scored 3 tries in 3 tests last year against the New Zealanders. Ridge out wide. He ran away from Ellis.
Let him up. Roll away from him.
Thought he might have given Ellis and Hoppy the chance. Namu. Hoppy to Lockyer. Knocked it back.
They're doing 0 there, Phil.
Well, Darren Lockyer's second half hasn't been quite as safe as his first, which was very impressive.
Let him up.
It certainly has, but again, there's been no pressure put on by the Warrior players when G. Namu's put the kick through. This will be interesting stuff here with
Ridge
Sailor
trying to get to it. And nice change of direction by Ridge. Now he runs away from Sailor, playing cat and mouse with him.
Let him up now, fellas. Let him up now. That's a 0.
Well, it wasn't a bad play by Wendell Sailor, but I wonder whether or not Wayne Bennett would approve.
1, let him up,
hands off. If the players actually approved of the little chip kick there, because it puts him under pressure again.
Yeah, kicking from his own 20-metre line.
2 now, let him up, roll away.
For himself.
Come on.
Nobody else knew about it. Nearly caught Matthew Ridge out of position, though. That in itself is an achievement. Ellis tries to get outside Reynolds. Namu. Malum, the 23-year-old. Good unload to Hoppy. That is one of the safest and most effective unloads of the game by Brady Malum. Had no risk about it.
Roll off him, quick.
Sideru, Namu, little dummy in acceleration, but a pass back to who else but Alan Langer.
Let him up. Come on, quick.
I think Alfie was just on the spot there to receive that ball.
Just a little too much desperation from the Warriors, but I guess they've got to do something at this stage of the game. Just a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, well, with just under nearly 2 minutes to go, you're better off trying something than trying nothing and just saying, well, we've got the Warriors within 10 points.
Tallis put on his backside.
Come back.
By Mark Horrow. Tallis looks just a little weary. Up with him, the long break. Ellis and Renoff. He had a good tussle.
Come on.
That was good defence by Ellis, that's for sure.
A difficult man to mark Steve Renoff anytime. And here's Ellis in, and he'll make the tackle on Webke.
5 and last.
I think Phil Harrigan said it's the 5 and last. Alan Langer.
Yeah, you're on.
His kicking game this game really hasn't been up to his usual standard, and that's too long. But it's not the worst result in the world. The Warriors very slow to get back to the 20. They're not going to take a quick tap and come back at the Broncos.
Well, with 2 tries they've got to score within a minute. I don't think they'll be doing that, that's for sure, Warren. They actually haven't looked like getting past the Brisbane side at all. They really haven't put a good set of 6 together throughout the game.
It's been very rare. There's Anthony Swan. again off a good pass from Malem. Malem made a couple of errors early in the game, but he's really steadied and come back strong. I think that's a good sign. He's been one of the good points for the Warriors tonight.
He's one of the few forwards that have actually gone for it and managed to get a couple of balls away. Problem is that he didn't have enough backup throughout the whole game.
Jones, Ropati, nice ball onto Swan.
That's ball, let him up now, inside out wide.
Not long to go. Can the Warriors get another try? Betts, just a little slow as he ran the angle. The timing and the speed wasn't there. Ridge, nice pass out to Jones. Tallis has got him by an arm. Last tackle. Betts, nowhere to go down the blind side. Too much defence. Great hands by Lockyer. Lovely take. And Darren Lockyer takes the last tackle of the game. It was certainly a scrappy performance by both teams, but the Broncos always had it in hand after two first-half tries set up by Darren Smith. They just had too much flash in attack, the Broncos. When they needed it, they could turn it on. And at full time, the Brisbane Broncos have defeated Auckland by 14 points to 2. The Warriors weary. And
well, I think you might have to put that down to the travel arrangements that they did have to have in the last minute. You said before the game they got here something like 2 a.m. in the morning, and next minute they've had to hire the plane to get here. And then you know, they go out and play this on the first Super League home game. I think they just found it too hard, and they really looked right to play tonight.
You're absolutely right. The Auckland Warriors had everything go against them this week. It was a wicked preparation for the first game of the season. Everything went wrong, from chief executives resigning to planes. The horse is in a bit of trouble too, by the look of it. But maybe the fireworks have upset him. Yeah, I think Buck's lost the plot. He's used to running around the ground every time the Broncos score a try. Well, they've had a good win.
I think he thinks he's in the dressage. He's going to go over the Holden side, the ANZ.
But yeah, really everything was against the Warriors coming to the home ground of the Brisbane Broncos, who are a star-studded side. The temperature conditions weren't going to favour them, even though it's been a relatively mild night. Poor build-up, arriving late last night. So they probably can hope that next week, and particularly on home territory, they'll go a lot better. But they do have to improve their winning. Warriors' defence, do you think that it stood up? Because it has been criticised in the past.
Well, I think it did stand up tonight there, Warren. But if you look at all the mistakes both sides have made, if they'd made less mistakes, I reckon more tries would be scored.
Let's get Wally Lewis.
Well, it's one of those games that I guess everybody was looking forward to it. A terrific entertainment we've seen here at the stadium tonight. A lot of pressure on the players and public alike. But the players, I suppose, Alan Langer, under one of those nights, you had to perform, and the ball didn't make it any easier.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Well, we had the spectacle, and we had more than 42,000 people here at ANZ Stadium tonight, and we got all the entertainment that was promised as well. But Mark Sargent, I guess the game was one where Brisbane got on top very early and didn't run away with it, and Auckland didn't really threaten them.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good summary of it, Debbie. They gave themselves a few opportunities. They went close to adding 3 more tries to the tally, but they did enough. And I think, as I mentioned at half-time, and that carried on through the second half, the outstanding feature was their defence.
Yeah, they still haven't put it together quite in attack, but we saw some amazing weaponry from the Broncos. If you Sailor was very difficult to handle. Darren Smith was difficult for the Auckland Warriors to handle. Mundine, when he was unfortunate, well, assuming we were going to see much of Mundine, but yeah, he looked dangerous. But in the end, they just didn't come up with the tries that we're used to. I mean, we're used to point-scoring blitzes, I guess, from the Broncos. Yeah,
I guess we're a little bit spoiled. We generally expected a lot of points scored by Brisbane, but as you say, they've got the players there, and I think with time during the course of the season, certainly some of the guys you mentioned, Tallis and so forth, and the guy who came on off the bench, although he's in number 10, was Brad Thorne, who had a big impact when he came on, and I think he's going to be a player to watch right throughout the season.
Yeah, well, I think we saw a couple of really good